Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, thank you for dropping by. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you. You are the best. Please like, please subscribe. Just subscribe. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt you. It definitely doesn't hurt me. So subscribe. I pretty much just want to show you how I made this outfit I'm wearing in this video. And yeah, this particular one is for how I cut it, the pattern and everything, and then the next video would be for how I sewed it, so you can sew along with me. Thank you. Hi guys, so I'm just trying to draw a straight line on the brown paper to start off my pattern for this halter top. And I'm drawing a straight line because I've cut the edges, and so I just needed a straight line to start. Next thing you want to do, you want to measure out your shoulder. My shoulder is 14, so I divided that by 2, and that is 7 inches. So I'm just marking 7 inches right there. I decided to use a marker so you can at least see what I'm doing. So you mark 7 inches right there. The next measurement is my half length, because I'm doing it's a top, so just my half length. It's the top part of a romper, so my half length is 15, but I'm making it 16 inches because I want to have seam allowance for the top and the bottom, to attach the bottom to the shorts and to fold up or attach the top part to the straps, because it's like a halter. So here I'm just drawing the line to mark my waist, the half length, the length of my top. Here I'm gonna measure out my neck opening, and the circumference of my neck is 13 inches. To find the radius of that, you do the calculation for circumference, which is 2 pi r. So you divide 13 by 2 times pi, which is 6.28, and by the time you divide it, you get about 2. So I measured out 2 inches from the line to show where my neck starts from, the opening starts from. So I measure 2 right there and mark it. And then I'm coming to the shoulder, where my shoulder ends. I'm marking half an inch down so I can do my shoulder slant. That's what I'm doing right there. And then I just draw it. So sorry for the shadow, guys. I need to figure out this thing and how to do it better, but hopefully you can understand what's going on. So now I want to measure my waist. My waist, I'm using 26, and when I divide that by 4, it's 6.5. So I'm gonna add 2 inches, one for seam allowance and one for darts, which will give me 8.5. So I'm just here measuring up 8.5 on my waistline and marking it right there, so that's 8.5. Next thing is me trying to get my breast point. I'm measuring my shoulder to nipple as 11. It's usually 10 and a half, but I added half an inch allowance for the shoulder, and so I'm just marking it closer to where my nipple to nipple measurement will be. So my nipple to nipple measurement is 3.5, but then I add an extra 5 inches, making it half an inch, making it 4 inches for my nipple to nipples, because when you hold it in half an inch, it will now become 3.5. So that's me marking my breast point right there. I'm doing it at the bottom as well so that I can just match up the lines. So we match up the top point, the breast point, to the waist, and then you put your half an inch, measure out half an inch on both sides of the line, and draw that to match up to the breast point. And that is what your dart will be. That is pretty much your dart, and you just sew along the outer lines. So here we're gonna measure my bust measurement, and it's 34 inches. Divided by 4, you get 8.5, and I added 1 inch, so that's 9.5. I'm marking there for my bust, and I just did it to align with where the breast point is. And going up here, I'm trying to figure out the halter sleeve, the shoulder, how wide I want it to be, and I pretty much want it to be 2 inches. So with seam allowance, I made it 2.75 inches. Now I'm matching up the points from my bust to my waist, from my shoulder or sleeve, I don't know, to my bust. So I'm here drawing another curve, just like at the V, just in case I wanted it to be open a bit more, but I eventually didn't use that curve, but I just did it anyways, and I'm showing you that I did it. So in case you want like your boobs to show a bit more, you can draw this curve, but I didn't want my boobs to show. So now I'm just cutting out the pattern. And there we have the pattern for the top. Look at my beautiful fabric I'm going to use to make my outfit, my little halter neck romper. I'm just trying to, place it properly, arrange it. I'm checking to see if there's a particular way I want the leaves to be placed on the top, but I figured it doesn't really matter, to be honest. I could just use it like that. So now I place my pattern. I'm trying to place it so that the neckline is on the fold, which it is right now. And I just put some clips on it to hold it in place so that I can cut out my pattern. I also put some washers to make sure the pattern lays flat on the fabric. And time to cut out. Just cutting. Carefully cut it out. And I missed that top part before in the pattern, so I just cut it out with the fabric. And all done, all cut out. Remove everything so you can see your top piece. Nice. And now I'm placing it again to get like the facing. You can actually use a lining, a plain lining, maybe black or whatever you think is fine. Ironing it out just to make sure it's settled. You can use a lining so that you don't have to waste your fabric, but I didn't even think of that then. Just use the same fabric. And so I'm cutting it out, making sure everything's nice and neat. Just the exact same thing for the facing. Yep. And you open it up. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to actually be my top part. So I've decided to use that blue one because of the way it is in the middle. I'm going to use that to be the front part, like what will show in the outfit. And the other one that I place it on top is going to be my facing. So that's done. You can put that aside. Moving on over to the shorts. I'm doing a freehand pattern here. My waist for the top was 9.5, so I'm going to mark the same thing here. Marking 9.5 for the waist includes the seam allowance and the dart. And I'm trying to get my length for the shorts. I'm marking 14, which includes also seam allowance to attach the shorts to the top and to attach the bottom to the frills. So here you draw out the line for the length. That's the bottom of the shorts. You always just want to get the length sorted out first. The waist and the length, the parallel lines, top and bottom. And then I'm trying to get my rise or crotch length from the waist to where your crotch ends, which I'm going to use 9. Mark 9 over there. So here I'm putting my tape at 3 inches from where the waist starts down there and marking it outwards. Now I want to mark my thigh measurement. It is 23 inches divided by 2, that is 11.5, plus 1 inch, that's 12.5. So I marked 12.5 right there. And then I'm getting my inseam, which is about 4.5 inches. So that's where I mark it, and that should also lay on top of where I put the crotch line at 9 inches. Yep, confirm that. And then I'm marking my thigh there, 12.5 inches. You move on to the hip point. So you want to mark your hips. But first of all, I want to get my hip points, and I'm going to use about 7.5 there for the hip points. And then come ahead and mark my hip measurement. So my hip is 40 divided by 4 is 10, plus 1 inch is 11. Get my curve ruler to connect everything. Connect from the waist the hip point, making sure it touches there to the inseam, to where the inseam starts. You know, you just try and lay it at however you can fit it so that everything matches up and you have all the allowance you need. And I finally did that, and then now I'm just drawing the curve, my crotch curve. It doesn't have to be like so perfect, but it works. And then you cut the pattern out, and there you have your front piece. And then you come cut the sides open because you're gonna join that to the back piece. And I place my front piece on another folded fabric. I'm showing you here that I actually have a pattern for shorts, but I decided to freehand this one for myself, but I usually use the patterns for customers because it helps me. So I'm measuring 2 inches from the fold for to give room for my bum. So the back piece always has to be bigger than the front piece. So now you draw the 2-inch line, match up all the marks you made for the 2-inch space for the bum. You just draw the line, and then when you place your fabric, I'm also making 1 inch above on the rise, because also to accommodate your bum, because you know it kind of lifts up anything you wear, so you need to have that extra space. But it should match up the front on the edges, on the sides where it connects to the front. But you know, the rise part doesn't connect to the front, that's just a back piece, so that should be higher so it sits well and you're not like struggling, like it's not like entering inside your butt. So here I decided to move it forward a little bit more just because I'm putting the zipper on my bum and not the side, and I just wanted to be sure I have ample space with no mistakes. And I'm just rematching everything up since I moved it forward. So you cut everything out, cut the back piece out. It's pretty much the same as the front, just with more space for your bum. And you open it up, so you have your front piece and your back piece. Now I am just trying to arrange my fabric to create the straps. I'm just, you know, making everything neat. Making sure I have enough fabric for what I need. I'm measuring 6 inches because that's the width I need to fold it to get the strap. So it will be about 2 inches each, because that 6 inches includes like sewing allowance, seam allowance. So it will be about 2 inches each, or 2.5 into 2 inches each at the end of the day, when I have taken half an inch on both sides. I just marked that all the way down. I folded it so that it'll help me do it without having to and everything will fit in the camera. Now that everything's measured up properly, I'm trimming off the excess fabric that I do not need, and then I open it up and fold it in half. So you see I have 4 layers of fabric, and those 2 layers of the fold gives me 2 straps, because it has to be double, right? So 2 layers for 1 strap, another 2 layers for another strap. So I'm just folding it together so that I know it's nice and even. Then I fold it again because, you know, I'm trying to conserve space. Now I'm cutting through that fold that I made so that I have 2 long straps. Cut it all the way through. Now I have 2 long straps, and those straps are gonna attach up there and on the top, just like that. For the final piece of the puzzle, called this romper, I am trying to cut the frills out for the shorts, and so I folded my fabric into 2 first, then folded again, so I have 4 layers of fabric. I just want to show you how I did that. So you see it's folded like this first, and I lay it down and fold it again, making sure I have like 12 inches on each side. At least 11 inches, but 12 inches is what I did. Then I already have my circle pattern cut out, but I'll just quickly explain how I did that. If you do want a specific tutorial for that, let me know in the comment section, and then I will like show you how I created that pattern. But pretty much what I did to get this circle is I figured out how wide I want it to be, so which was like about 40 inches, and I divide that 40 inches by 6.28. That's 2 times pi. Whatever I get is that length from the top point to where the circle starts. And I got 7.6, but I decided to use 8, so I measure 8 from the top down to that part on my brown fabric, just going around like that. So I show you, I measure 8 here, 8 like that, 8 like that, 8 like that on my brown fabric, and then that is what gives me that first curve. And then the actual width of the frill is 3 inches, but I added half an inch because I'll attach it to the shorts for seam allowance. And so you just measure that out the same way you measured the first curve is how you measure that out for the second curve. From that point down, as in another extra 3 inches, so pretty much 11 inches down. And so I'm placing the pattern properly on my fabric, and I'm gonna get some clips to hold it in place so that I can cut out the circle pattern for my fabric. So you want to just make sure it's matched up properly so you have enough, and then you cut it out. I made this 40 because I also want to gather the frill. So you have that one frill for one leg, and you're gonna just do the same thing for the next leg, which is what I'm doing here. Just pretty much place the pattern, so you want 2 of that. So this is the second one I'm cutting out, and it's done. Thank you for watching.